Good morning. In the wave spell of the yellow human, magnetic we are today. Unify, attract, purpose. Very exciting. I'm trying to fake my excitement. Can you tell? It's like trying to lift something that's a little bit too heavy for fluffy. All good. All part of my humanity. At this present moment, very much accepted. New wave spell. Those of us who are living in the system a little deeper tend to feel these shifts in wave spells. Not each and every one, sometimes just some in particular. It's like, you wake up in a different world or a different energy frequency. Really palpable. As each of these seals and tones are depicted frequencies, like musical notes. And we put them together to create the symphony of our lives. Consciously or unconsciously. Yellow human. My not best friend. But I do notice that I have dropped a lot of my resistance toward this energy and this seal throughout this spin. Indeed, it's become a much more neutral frequency to me, in as much as I have been struggling through my humanity, and I'm very curious. I'm always curious to see where it leads. Ach, yeah. Isn't it a good thing that we don't know the future and we don't know where we're going? It's nice to have surprises in there. But there again is the balance between knowing and not knowing, between predictability and surprise. Only predictability is maybe suffocatingly boring, and only unpredictability is too destabilizingly uncertain. I sure like a balance. Who is on the rhythmic tone in this wave spell? Red. Wait. Tatiana. Yellow, yellow, yellow warrior, and then red earth. Red earth. Interesting. So the earth, it's very interesting. The earth is very stable, very predictable. The seasons, I can tell you what the view out my window will be like basically every day of the year. It never changes unless someone chops down a tree. So in terms, it never changes, like it will go through its winter, its summer, its spring, its autumn. But the unpredictable on Earth also happens. Climate change. And isn't that exciting? The Earth melting her ice caps and flooding her oceans with clean water, cooling herself, and then drawing in some distant future, short or near, she'll draw the ice back up. Maybe something will shift her orbital axis, and then the North Poles will be, I don't know, covering North America, God forbid. And whatever she gets up to, and whoever governs these rhythms. To us, they may seem unpredictable, they might be completely predictable. Perhaps systems like the Mayas, cosmology, and whatever, they were so accurate in predicting all kinds of celestial and, I suppose, earthly events, might really know when these things happen, rhythmically and predictably. To us, it seems a little less predictable. Suddenly there appears to be 2 growing periods in the year. I do not recall seeing that as a child, that buds, leaf buds, whatever, plant buds would appear on a bush in November or December or even January. I do not recall that used to happen. So Mama Gaia is also changing, and we are so linked with her. Even in some other way, we feel so unlinked or unhinged. Our relationship with the earth is so extremely important and so extremely special. And in my opinion, in the Western way of life, it's not honored even 2% to the degree that it ought to be. Never mind what it could be. And I'm not saying what it should be, because we have free will, so we can do as we please. And more it feels to me, it looks to me as if humans are coming in more and more aware of their own program, not their programming, but their curriculum, their lifetime's curriculum, and they may not be consciously aware of it, but there seems to be an awareness of the curriculum, which is always kind of linked to the past. You don't have a curriculum unless you come from somewhere. Why would I want to learn that if I already know it? So I must know that I don't know it, so I go ahead and I want to learn this. And more our children are not really, or are resisting interference. That's what I'm seeing. And it looks to us sometimes, to the parental and older generations, a little chaotic. And the dragon and the blue monkey, the mother and the child, the trust is a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. And if I could wish the Western world to have a deeper grasp of a couple of things, one of them would really be the child has its own compass. It comes from somewhere. It's not a blank slate. It is a soul that may or may not have been here before, but they have been wherever else. And according to a sensitive awareness of the soul needs that moves in the child, we could be much better guides and guardians to their own journey. But many of us haven't received that ourselves, so it's kind of, we have to take that knowledge of how to do that from somewhere. Ideally, we take it from our Akashic records. Ideally, we take it from our remembrance, red moon, and is cosmic underneath this magnetic human today, the remembrance. So never mind childrearing, although it always represents the way we treat our own inner child. And that is always rebirthing itself. Every day we are new. Every day we are a collective of old and new, of known and unknown, of used and releasable, and new and unopened. There's a constant flux and change in our body, and a constant alignment and realignment. And some things, it's good that they're stable. We don't have to reinvent the wheel on a daily. But other things, it's good for us to really know what can we influence, what need we influence. And this cosmic moon in the occult being the end of the red earth, wait, wave spell. So this red earth wave spell is our medicine in this wave spell. It's the unseen influence, the unknown, perhaps kind of like an unconscious, but influencing influence. Sorry, that felt a little clumsy. So my joy would be right now to spend a long time exploring all these 4 wave spells, but we'll do it day by day, I suppose. Yeah, we have the occult wave spell. We're coming, not to forget, from the blue storm by the crystal monkey. So whatever endured of our playful nature, of our ability to create, of our knowing or not knowing, here it's now developing into our humanity. So now we get to take responsibility. The child can, and they're not separate. I really want to reiterate that. They are and they aren't. They are as separate as your left hand is separate from your right hand. You know, if you only had the one, you'd be really quite limited. Having both is the shit. So it's like that. The inner child and the adult. And they are one. It's one human person having 2 hands. It's one spirit having a body, having an adult and a child self, having whatever we dissect this into. We could do with a total different cosmology, not dissect it that way, I guess, but here we are dissecting it that way. And unifying polarities. So we can take all our inner children and unify them into the collective. We can take spirit, inner child, inner mother, inner magician, inner earth, everything, and unify it into our human expression, which is the first frontier of that expression is, I suppose, our body self. It's a collection of all these cells, all these organisms, many of which are anything but human. But there, if the earth is if our body is like the earth, there are these beings that live on the earth and in the earth that are maybe not of the earth, but they are of the earth, and the earth couldn't function as she does without them, just like us. And the harmony within, and the harmony with our life path, and the harmony with the environment, etc., the harmony of our thoughts, our belief systems, everything is represented visibly through this body. And then through our actions, blue hand, analog wave spell. Our actions and spirit, our breath, our breath of life. Who gave us the breath? And who gives us the breath every minute? How many times we breathe per minute? Every breath is that first given breath. White wind. So we're paralleling the wave spell of the white wind. Spirit, communication, breath, unseen forces, the divine. We do not, our own higher self, we do not live without it. And it's so fascinating that we still, I think, don't understand how is it like the heart muscle just never stops beating until it does. We can't control it, we can't really influence it directly, nor the breathing. It's like, how come you can have your spinal cord severed and all kinds of muscles stop working, and the heart just keeps going. It's really... And what about the quadriplegic who needs an external lung? I mean, yeah, wow. There we have built machines to keep a life alive, even though that life, yeah, can never be without that machine. And there you can see if that life is still worth living to that individual. They live for what? Their inner world and their relationships, because they still happen. They can still, if they can, talk or hear, communicate with the ones they love. They can still dream, think, fantasize, live an inner, very rich inner life. Must be, otherwise they would depart. I listened to some Seth material yesterday, and he too, bless, states how every death, every human death is chosen. Nobody dies but by their choice. And that might be a very weird statement to hear for some, but that is like the link between the yellow human and the white mirror, and the influence. If we identify with our body or our ego or our thoughts, it's like, no, I don't choose, I don't. Then the I that is identified as I don't choose to die when I die, people don't choose to die when they die, is the wrong identification. I say that consciously. That is not the I that decides. And to know the I that decides, to really be connected consciously with that. And it may not be everyone's purpose to be consciously connected with that. It may not be. I would assume that that is, for me as Yellow Sun, the cosmic human, would be that. That would be the purpose of life, of development, of developing humanity, to be in touch with, to be conscious of the self far beyond the ego. But it's not... it's not part of every aspect or every chapter of the journey. So we're currently still much in a journey where we're at the end of... Are we at the end of this Kali Yuga, or of this dark period? Kriyana assures us we are at the end of the shift, 36 years from the harmonic convergence, 2012 having been the middle, and how can 2036 be the end? No, 2020, wait, 2030, something like that. Anyway, we're close to the end. We're in the last 5 years, or 4 years or something. We're in the end of it. And then it'll be really, really interesting. And you know what? It doesn't... There is a way to say, but if you come up with this kind of theories, says who? And if you like astrology, if you don't believe in it, if you don't add your own energy into that belief system or into that expectation, you may not experience any of it. The shift may come and go, and life will feel exactly the same. But when we energize something, we activate it in our experience, in our field of experience. And therein lies the element of free choice. What are we activating in our experience? And to not know that entirely, to be completely ignorant of that, has its own benefits and purposes. Then one may be continuously a victim of, or not in control of, the forces that move in one's life. And while the degree to which I think, as my understanding is, there is in development, as we develop our consciousness, certain challenges on the earthly level become kind of outgrown. They're no longer necessary, and they're not helpful either to develop that higher level of consciousness. But you can't bypass the phase, because the cosmic human is not the cosmic spirit, even though it is too. But it's our humanity that matters. It's being human that matters, which doesn't mean with all our expressed darkness. That is a part of our humanity, but we will not need to express that way ad infinitum, as we still are currently on the planet, and as we have been doing for a good long time. But we will have a body, we will have human attributes, we will have human psychology, although all of the above are subject to change. Human nature changes, human psychology changes, human physiology changes, our genetic expressions change. And the cosmic human, I mention it because the yellow sun represents the highest state of consciousness and life and enlightenment, right? Which isn't a fixed and static thing, but to incarnate that highest state of consciousness into the human form, and then we see what it does with the human form. The cosmic human is also what endures and then is transcended through being present with it. The what part of each, I suppose each and every one of us gets to decide for ourselves, and that will be the collective decision. At least of the collective we're a part of. Very interesting. Okay, so what part of my humanity at any point in my developmental process, I take stock and check what part of humanity is really, it's amazing to have, to keep. I personally am not manifesting the path that says the aim of my earthly life is to no longer need to or want to or have to incarnate in a human body. Hardly. I love it. I mean, my God, I hate the heart bits, surely. Hate, yeah, strong word, but I absolutely adore the good bits, and like every price is kind of worth paying for that. Almost. When I'm paying the price, I'm like, no price is worth, no good is worth this agony. But when I'm on the other side, it's like, no, that was just transitory. This is eternal. The deliciousness of life is eternal, but it cannot be known if we don't occasionally touch on its dual opposite. But what would a unified, a non-dual human life experience be like? I'm not sure if I can imagine it. If whatever, and I don't need to answer that either. So it will be what it will be, or it is what it is. Yeah. So the analog wave spell on this beautiful humanity, we're developing, incarnating, experiencing, expressing, exploring, is the blue hand. Now, this blue hand wave spell is not the same as we've already been through, because it is sun sign reversed, going around and soaking the other way around. So instead of blue hand, yellow star, red moon, white dog, it goes blue hand, white death, red serpent, yellow seed, blue night, etc. White wind. No. So to meet up the cornerstones, like for example white wind, and I'm not doing that now. Where I want to go. So this will be worth an exploration. How does this blue hand analog wave spell is so like and supportive of the human wave spell, and both the analog and the occult have a kind of a time reversal, or a kind of a creative reversal element to it. And perhaps that's like the surprise element. And I want to remind us, blue hand, wait, I'm finished there. So that's knowing, healing, accomplishing. And going in reverse. So our actions and our healing in this case will be challenged, for example, on the second day, tomorrow, by the blue hand analog. The doing would in that case be challenged by the world bridger. And I love this connection between the blue hand and its antipode, the red earth, furthest away. So this doing and allowing to be done. The red earth, like the yellow human, has the white wind in its Anna. Wait a minute. That can't be. Must be its analog kin. It has to be, because no, man. Where's the white wind? It can't be. Sorry. Of course, it's the analog. Yeah, I see. Oh, that's why my maths doesn't reach that far around. That's on tone 6, of course. Oh, so beautiful. So this rhythmic. Oh, now I'm jumping around. I'm jumping around. Because the blue hand and the white wind shift positions. They swap positions from the yellow human. So when I said earlier to be rhythmically, these rhythms of everything, the importance of the rhythms of everything, knowing and not knowing, being something and not being it, being conscious and being unconscious, being awake and being asleep, testing your own will and following the divine will. And how do we unify the divine will with our own will? When we do that, white magnetic human, unify, attract, purpose, unify all the aspects, unify all those wave spells, spirit and action, including their antipodes, including their everything. But it all is expressed in the wave spell of the yellow human itself. That's these 4 wave spells plus the guides resonating together. And on the rhythmic earth, tone 6, they switch. So it's like you gotta also allow anything and everything to have a pole switch. And maybe for me, what I've experienced in the last month, should I say, the wave spell of this storm and the white word bridger and maybe a little bit of skywalker before, I'm not sure, but definitely my 13th month of my spectral snake serpent year, the last month, has also been, these are pole shifts, and when they happen very rapidly, perhaps the system itself is asking me, who am I speaking about, to surrender. This would be my lower self, my maybe ego self, my earthly identity, my earth identity, whatever. Let the pole switches happen, because they are also rhythmic. And if they're speeding up, which they are, periodically, the high and the lows, if I want to call it bipolarity, the different frequencies, and I've really explored that at significant depth, at least for me, the switches. I mean, I can see it, okay, I can say a lot about that. And it fascinates me no end, even though part of me is thinking like, Tatiana, do you continue focusing on something that you actually aren't wanting? But as I focus, as I move along, I'm searching for different paradigms. I'm trying to fit things into a different paradigm, into a different perspective, which will change everything. So here it comes. The perspective I'm trying for size right now is, what if these are like pole shifts? They feel extremely uncomfortable. My up is suddenly my down is suddenly my up. Two poles are switching sides. And instead of trying to react, fix, heal, the call is just please surrender. When this happens, I always say, when we get a cold, put yourself into bed, stop doing what you're doing, and just let the update run. Just give yourself the rest that the body is clearly saying you need to have. Not a little bit of a running nose, you can function with that, a little bit of a whatever. But if it gets a little heavier, and certainly if you get a fever or something, really is a time to sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. And if I understand these pole shifts, if they are that, or like magnetic shifts, if I can see, okay, they're intensifying, and maybe the poles are, my consciousness is actually spreading towards both poles. I can hold both poles. It's all a very new experience, and I'm trying to apply old patterns, and they're not working either, or they're disturbing the process, making things worse. And here I am mentalizing everything again, but what I'm saying I can actually feel. And I gotta let that sink in. So for each of us, what it means to be human, for the collective, for the future, for the past, for the eternal now, our actions, what we're doing, how we're doing them, never to forget love and goodwill and healing what's hurt. Oh yeah, ton to say. So we've got the wave spell of the red earth in the occult in reverse. We've got the wave spell of the blue hand in a seal reverse, which means For me, it's very interesting. What does it mean? The solar tone, I look up the planetary tone, the solar tone of the reverse blue hand. The whole time pulsar would then be blue hand, blue night, blue storm, blue eagle. The cosmic blue eagle, which was the guide yesterday, is the transcendent point. Cosmic eagle. So we can remember at all times our cosmic vision. What is cosmic humanity? If we imagine in a couple of years, 5 or 5,000 or whatever, we will be starfaring. Who do we want to be? When we meet our neighbors, who we go there and like, oh, let's say you and I go there. We're the representatives. And like, oh, tell us about humans on Earth. What are they like? Yeah, would we say come and visit us? Or would we say like, well, mildly dysfunctional, leave them alone. They're not ready. Whatever. But who would we want to be? Like, who would we want to be collectively? What would we want to say our history of the last 5,000 years, or if we meet them in 2,000 years, we say the history of our last 5,000 years. Let's say we meet them in 3,000 years. The history of our last 5,000 years has been how we know the history of the last 2,000. So where do we go from here? What do we want to say in 3,000 years? How have we developed? We've overcome the barbaric aspects of our humanity. We've slaughtered ourselves. We've been really, really out of hand in a lot of ways. But we actually woke up. We actually one by one realized we are not participating in that anymore. We will not. And we could see where our ancestors, our recent ancestors, have participated out of whatever reasons of their own. That does not mean we, their descendants, are forced to repeat the patterns. And it doesn't mean we dishonoring them. We can honor them and may not understand how or why they did what they did, or we may understand how or why they did what they did. But we can see that it leads nowhere but to more of the same. Because each side wants the other side to stop and to concede. But whatever. So we will then be able to say we've outgrown that. And now we are a humanity we are magical beings. We have resources. We are problem solvers. We love music. We love loving. We love dancing. We love partying. We love celebrating life together. We love our whoever our family is, whoever we define our family to be. We love our soul family. We love sitting and having food and drink and looking at the sunsets, and we love spending nights out in the warm summer nights looking at the stars. We are dreamers. We love telling stories. Some of us are really good at that, and we love listening to them. We've created incredible tools that we love, that they really enhance our lives, and we've freed ourselves. We've learned to communicate with the earth in a way we never believed was possible. We have understood our brothers and sisters of the plant family the way we never have before. We really when we now go into a forest, it's like we can feel how the forest embraces us. And the funny thing is, it always has done that. And we can remember the ancestors who just went into the forest, threw down their smokes and lit half of it up and didn't think twice about it, or just pulled on their leaves, or just chopped down the trees without thinking what they're doing. we've just totally outgrown that. We've reforested half the planet. Our planet is green and lush and beautiful. We've really worked it out, man. We've just it's just beautiful, and we've found a way to preserve ancient cultures, to let them be, you know. And there are always young ones that come into the new cultures that want to explore the old cultures, that want to explore the new cultures. And there are always old souls born in the new cultures that want to go and live with the old cultures. And it's a really strange exchange. So you now have a lot of white people like living in the African tribes. And they're like totally fitting in. It's like amazing. Back in the days it used to be like totally weird, like not happening. And they have children there, and it's like it forms a whole new genetic environment that is very, very different. And there's an enormous amount of gratitude. Even the younger souls and the younger cultures are having an understanding of them resting on the wisdom of the old cultures. And while they're exploring their own immaturity, their own youth, they're not doing it in total ignorance, and they're not doing it in defiance, because there is nothing to defy. There is no older culture or no parental oversight that the younger generation or the younger cultures need to defy. They get to explore what in this day and age we'd call their own stupidity. But it won't be like that. It isn't like that anymore. It's really, really interesting. And there's a whole different exchange of information throughout this web of that's just like, yeah, okay, that's the limit of my imagination. Enough storytelling. But like, yeah, isn't something like that more like it? We travel a lot on the planet. Like, really, as soon as you can walk, you're like, where's my backpack? I gotta find my soul tribe. Like, wait, you're my child. You were born into my family. I know you have 100 other mothers on this planet, but can you just stay here for a while? Like, yeah. Mm. In the meantime, on planet Earth, in your life, in your shoes, in your journey, in your exploration of your own light and dark, in your own service to mankind and service to yourself, it's your own life you're living. This wave spell leads us to the cosmic seed, our seed potential. Isn't that interesting that the human develops into its own seed? And it brings forth its own seed. It copies itself. We're copying ourselves. And I have had, I speak now in past tense, I've experienced an enormous run-in with the parts of myself and of my past, patternings, conditions, feelings, that I do not wish to put into my seed. There's a reason I have no biological offspring. And I don't know that I can say to the universe, rebuild me without that. If I can say to my own higher self or my own inner self or God within, redo me without that. Or if I have to know who do I want to be, and that will naturally not have that. because I can see the path, so it's just to be walked. I don't need to actually precast it. In as much as I have an idea of, I realize that that other version of me, that is that timeline that's coming to an end, doesn't have a future. It doesn't have, it is exactly the collective of all these old patterns that doesn't have a future. When I'm in there, yeah, it's not nice. It's not nice, even though it gets nice when I say, okay, well, you just do get to rest. I feel kind of guilty. It's like, I feel guilty wanting to die. Like, you're not allowed to. Oh, yes, I am. Hello, I'm a sovereign human being. Of course I'm allowed to. Anyway, wait, I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go to this cosmic seed. And for me, it always helps the question, if I die, or if I died like soon. You know, we all know this question, like, if someone told you you have 1 month left to live, or 6 months, or 1 year, what would you do with that time? I hate that question, personally. It just freaks me out. Not from the dying aspect, but because I'm like so commitment phobic, and I wouldn't know. I can't answer that in theory at all. I really can't. Also because I'm not living the kind of life where I'm doing something that I don't like doing. If I did a job that I would just doing because, then it'd be very easy to say, oh my God, I quit my job immediately and go do the things I love doing. I'm already doing the things I love doing. So yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'd borrow all the money that I can get and just spend it traveling, visiting all the places on the planet that I haven't seen, and taking all my friends along. You know, like, have a big party. I definitely plan a big party at the end of it with a huge fireworks. I want fireworks when I die. So, but I like the question, if I die, I have to decide, or get to decide, my new life. What would I like in it? What would I like to develop? What talents and abilities would I like to have? What kind of experiences would I not like to have any longer? Which struggles or which karmic residue, call it that? What would I like to be my personality traits? What would I like to come easy? What would I like to be like really natural for me, like no sweat, such as being naturally organized and tidy. I think my untidiness is some kind of defiance. As I'm healing my relationship to my mother, who is like a uber tidy, I might actually come to more into my own order, because my disorder might be a total. I have to mirror your inner disorder to you. That's what I do as a child. That's what animals can take. You know, I take your inner disorder, which you can't cope with, and I live it for you, so you don't have to. And I think I might have done that. I'm a little. There's a little artistic chaos that I don't want to have. I certainly don't want to be the kind of, like, I don't want to be the display of order that my mother has, because I believe that isn't natural either. That's a little OCD. I wouldn't want that. But a natural, ease of harmony and beauty, that should be, I'd like that. So cosmic star, we've had that in the antipodal wave spell of the sun, in the last wave spell of the storm. That sun lands us in the cosmic star. So I should just remember that. And I'm now a crystal dog for 1 year, so I get to hang around this wave spell of the storm, and today I'm really happy about that. 2 days ago I was like, oh boy, do I really have to? But I don't. I get to mix and match it all up, right? But in any case, so that question as to who would I want to be, what would I want to be in my next incarnation, leads me to that point where I ask myself, well, what part of that can I embody already now? I don't have to wait. And in the process of doing that, I come up against the resistance and that lock thing that I went to yesterday. There is an element of me, even as I speak about doing a process, let's say sitting down and writing down my ideal life. There's a very, very distinct thing that happens that says, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. I won't let you. Like the inner saboteur. It's like this, we will not allow that change. And this is still I'm not going into that deep now. I went into it deeper yesterday, and I can see how the way for me to meet that, I have to do it with my light. This is an aspect that's not the pure dark that will, if you take a light into the dark, there's no dark anymore. You can never take your light to the dark. I mean, you can take your light to the dark, but then you will have a lighter dark. It's not the dark. The full-on dark cannot be met but by itself, without the light. Which is very interesting. Reminds me of the Hermit card again, the Thoth Hermit. And there's merit to doing that, but you gotta be very, very strong to do that. I think so. I don't know. I have to be very strong to that. It's very scary. It's very, very scary. Like you go somewhere where you can't see anything. And this is what I wanted to say. Most of us, grew up and live till this day within a certain paradigm of danger, of there's unpredictable, calculatable danger, quote unquote, out there. Whether that is in the spirit field, whether there are spirit dangers or demons or souls or what, or whether there's physical danger, like bad people, things can happen to you. The earth might be hit by a meteorite, all kinds of dangerous things that can, like you can't control, and it's dangerous. Oh my God. For me, it's like the psychology, whatever, whatever. And as long as we live in that field, we will not. I mean, the real danger is living in that belief of danger. I really believe, yes, things happen. We are met with life, but that isn't a danger. I don't know, I take up issue with that word in the same way I take up a little bit issue with the word problem. Of course, it has its merits wherever, we use it, but it could be interesting to not need that word anymore. To challenge rather, or just life experience, and then we deal with it. Danger becomes a thing we try to avoid. Is this dangerous? I mean, is it dangerous to bungee jump? No, it's not. Either you live or you die. What's dangerous about it? As long as we consider dying something dangerous or bad, I think it just distorts reality enormously. And it changes the way we meet life. It affects the way we meet life. It affects the way Blue Hand, it affects the way human acts. It affects the way we heal. It affects our illness, everything. The way we see the world creates the world we see. And even me, I have unseen in my shadow fields of danger, things that I consider must be either the part that I can't see, and here comes an admittance, is if I don't do something that I say I want to do, I can't tell whether I don't do it because there is a fear lurking somewhere that I can't see, or whether my instinct says that is not your path, or it's not time yet, or that may be your path, but not this way around, whatever, And that's where I twist my knickers in a knot, because I then it's like, then I personally am like, how do I have to, how do I deal with that? That's my personal fault line, if you will. And if I then start adding salt to the wound by feeling bad or shaming myself for the indecision, for not knowing the flow, it just like, yeah, really things take on a different, and my mind is really I want to say, I need to understand this. I need to understand this. Like, surely I need to understand this. And I look to other people who, in my environment, who, some of which function very like me, thankfully, and some who don't at all. And advice from people who don't function like me is very difficult to take, because it's like, yeah, this works for you, but for some reason, it doesn't work like that for me. So who to trust, who to talk to? Someone who functions like me and who has overcome. That's the most likely candidate. In my life, there is a blue storm person who really, really resonates with me. And yeah, that is always a place of nurturance and a place of good advice, because I'm always met with empathy, and I'm always met with, I get you, like for real. And that shifts the space, because the minute I'm met with, I get you for real, I open up. Something in me opens up, my own resources, my own guidance system, everything relaxes, and together solutions or a better feeling place is reached. And then the solutions can show up, or the next frequential alignment, whatever. It may not always be a solution, may not always be time for solution isn't here, but time for just resonating on a similar frequency makes me feel less alone, makes me feel less stupid, makes me feel less shame or whatever. It just releases the knot a little bit. And then I can either untie it or breathe a little bit. If it's not time to untie it, I can take another round of it if I have to. Whatever, until I've learned all there is to learn in the experience. So when we meet, each other with compassion, it goes such a long way. And when we appreciate our own difficult life experiences very much consciously, it's so easy to meet others in a similar difficult life experience and say, you know what, I've been there too, and I got through it. And sometimes we've been there too, but we didn't get through it. We shut off. And that we can identify that when someone is in a similar to us life experience, we do not we don't generally react with compassion. It's often more like a rejection. We don't want to hear it, we don't want to see it, because we ourselves couldn't deal with it. So we, in our own life, and maybe it's also an ancestral pattern we inherited, no matter, when we then meet it in another, we're often more rejecting of the experience and more judgmental, shaming it, whatever we do with that, what we do with ourselves. Or if we don't want to do that, we totally have to turn away. And often that actually can even happen totally unconsciously. We're not even aware. I sometimes become aware of that, and on hindsight, like I realize, like someone said something that on hindsight, when I feel a little safer around the topic that I clearly at the moment didn't feel safe around, I'm like, why didn't I inquire after that? You know. And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have held a presence in that moment for that topic because it would have resonated with a frequency inside myself that is not stable itself. And I would not have been in a position to, and it takes two to tango, but it wouldn't have been a situation where I would have felt safe to explore the topic. And all of that to me is this yellow human with the blue hand and the white wind, the spirit, the communication, the actions, the doing, and the red moon in the occult, flowing. If we communicate with each other, we should do it. I mean, it should always be accompanied with love and compassion, right? Even if we have to set boundaries, even if we have to say a serious thing, can we say it nonetheless with love and compassion, understanding there's a sensitive human in front of us? You know, or can we say ourselves when a boundary is being overstepped? I really believe in this honest communication. Can we genuinely be so in touch with ourselves, with our feelings, red moon, and can we at the appropriate time voice those? This makes me feel like that. And when we know, I really believe that's the upgraded, that's the human software upgrade. We really need to, we're going there. If we are feeling beings and our feelings or emotions are extremely important, and if we're overriding them, ignoring them, shaming them, not giving space to them, because we've learned it's dangerous to do, because we've learned when we don't feel good, ha 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 ha, no, I'm fine. We have to pretend that we're fine because maybe our environment isn't coping with us not being fine. Maybe we don't want to burden others. All of it, it's such a convoluted, sullied space, our emotions. The red moon is absolutely not purified. It needs to be purified so that emotions can be there. We don't have to justify them. Lately, I've been feeling a lot of the energy of anger in my body for no reason at all. It just comes when I tune in. And I can see the blocks to it. I've held it in, I've had to, but I recognize that is like the anger. It's like a fire that doesn't get to express itself, that has not had a chance to learn to express itself appropriately. And having to learn that now is, it feels really tedious at times. But it is, there's no way around it. There's no way around it. And the key to it is, like one of them, whoever's listening, check out Norbert Gopal Klein, or Gopal, Norbert Klein, Gopal, and check out his honest sharing. There are links to him in English. It's very, very, very fantastic method to learn, to feel, to stay in touch with yourself, and to express. It's a communication skill that is so divine and so safe, and teaches us to express safely, to feel ourselves safely, and to express safely. We do it first in an environment where it is safe with others who also want to express that way. And then once we learn that, it's much easier to then take it out into the real world, and even in a business meeting to say, this is making me feel very uncomfortable. You asking something of me that I feel uncomfortable about. I haven't really figured out why it makes me feel uncomfortable, but I will. I'll get back to you. Imagine, stuff like that. In our relationships, it's paramount. But when we shift that within ourselves, it will shift. And he speaks a lot about that. He is all about taking that into government, because our governments are so dysfunctional because virtually everyone in there just comes from this lack and this inability to feel themselves, to feel safe. So we are creating this top-down nonsense all over the world. All our governments are dysfunctional as far as I'm concerned. Show me one that isn't, and how can that survive in an insanely dysfunctional rest of the world? But we got to heal it, and we heal it through changing the way we communicate, changing the way we feel, changing the way we act. Yellow human, analog hand, antipod wind, and occult moon, occult feeling, flow, universal water, purification, and it's cosmic. So it's through the earth we learn. How does the earth do it? How does the earth communicate with herself? How do all the systems in the natural world, plants, trees, we're learning more and more and more how they communicate, how trees have preferential treatments to their own seed offsprings on all the trees around them. Blah, 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 blah. Amazing, 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 amazing. And it's harmonious. We need to learn that and apply it ourselves. And then our actions, our blue hand, our healing, our knowing, our accomplishment, our doing, our becoming will be informed by that. It's a message of pure hope. And there's no way around it, because it's not survival of the fittest, it's not survival of the meanest, it's not survival of the ones who throws the best bombs. May look like it from a, small, from a serpent's perspective, when you don't have a very long range vision across time. It's survival of cooperation. And all of this, what we're still seeing going on the planet, it is going to go away. It will be outdated. It is not the way forward, and more of us are simply deciding we are not having it anymore. And we're not fighting against them in any way, shape, or form. We're just building and growing the self within, not a spiritually detached, equally dysfunctional self. We've explored that, but a real human self that is spiritual and earthly and muddy and watery and fiery and passionate and angry and silly and not at all perfect by whose standard, but that will be enlightened in time, because an enlightened human. So full of compassion, full of love, full of self-love, self-respect, and that will create a whole nother star self harmony. We are a beautiful species. We really are, and we have the potential to be incredibly destructive, and we're exploring that potential. Yes, we are, but the other side is also there, and let's not forget that. And what endures is what works. The cosmic human is the cosmic collective humanity that works. It's just what works. And throwing bombs on each other and doing all of that, it's holding us back. It's holding us back in our environment. It's holding us back in our development. It's holding us back in our unfolding of our seed potential, cosmic seed. And the cosmic seed at the end of this wave spell is guided by the cosmic star. So, in fact, by the wave spell of the star, since it's always a wave spell that guides, but never mind that, it's guided by the star and all that represents art, beauty, harmony, cooperation, and successful cooperation. Forming systems that work, viability, and that transcends, present, that endures. And when the human are seed potentials, we will create environments of viability for our seed potential as humanity. It's good. It's cool where we're going. It's really cool where we're going, because I genuinely believe we will stop keeping people on the breadline. Is that the right way to say it? Like in biological survival. And maybe Every soul makes that choice. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Maybe we're already there and I'm just not yet there myself. Maybe a part of Earth will be, that's the place where you throw bombs. Yeah, maybe the Middle East or whatever. That's, if you want to play like war games as a human, that's where you play them. And nobody is there who isn't choosing to be there in whatever capacity. And if there are, and then it's like maybe like Westworld, maybe there will always be some kind of virtual humans that, because what is this Earth? Is it a simulation? I don't know. We each have to decide for ourselves. But generally speaking, the way we each one individually and then collectively can apply the resources, apply the, like, we are doing it already. I mean, maybe in a few years we'll all have like robots in our house that do all the house cleaning. I'm currently not seeing very much wrong with that. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Do the laundry, fold the clothes. I mean, oh, thank you. Like, yes, I no longer have to pay any attention to that. It's like it frees up so much space. But the danger is, as we have these time-saving devices, we have been very immature with them. Maybe we're growing some maturity, because every time-saving device has just made us not use the saved time wisely, as far as I'm concerned. Because we cram it with more stuff that stresses us infinitely more. Even if it's just scrolling on Instagram for hours. We don't understand how much stress that puts into the system. Dopamine addiction is extremely stressful. When you're addicted to pleasure, pleasure becomes more stressful than anything else. And where to go from there? If your dopamine, your pleasure, is becoming your source of stress, where are you going to get pleasure from? You can't. It's like when you're addicted to porn, it's very hard to actually really relate sexually to another human, because the real thing is just not as intense as what you can do with porn on the internet, where you can go from kick to kick to kick to kick to kick, and one top it. You're like, where to from there? Well, where to from there? It's a valid question, and that's worth an exploration. So we're growing in wisdom. We're growing in taking ourselves down some really weird ass paths, but we bounce back. And if we don't, that's also cool, because it all adds to the pool of human experience. And death is not an enemy, death is not an end either. Death is just a transition into a more viable biological state than the one you're just leaving. Even if a very viable 43-year-old man suddenly passes away, who seemed very rooted in his life and fit and healthy and everything going for him, you just don't see that as a non-viable form. Nonetheless, that decision was made often as a lesson and a gift, I say that consciously, to the ones who are quote unquote left behind, who are here having now to live without that person and having the experience of that person unexpectedly suddenly being pulled out of life. And since we in the Western world anyway tend to not really often feel the spirit's presence, we have to deal with our own illusion of their absence. There's a physical absence we have to deal with that seems to be real by what we call real. But what do we call real? What is reality? And the divinity of grief. I mean, if that happened to me, I'd be lost in the deep darkness for a very long time, for sure. With all my light knowing, I still have all that human software, hardware that would live. I mean, I'm living proof of it right now. I'm living a very, very unenlightened elements of myself, very, very dark. But are they unenlightened, or is that just part of being human? You know, I mean, nothing, even the earth, as enlightened as she is, cannot show her face to the sun without turning it away all the time. We have to do that. The human Tatiana cannot be standing in her own light of consciousness all of the time. I can do it for a long, long time. And if that becomes my addiction, maybe that's what I'm paying for now. It's like my own dopamine addiction to my own inner state where I've just gone into like hyperactivity and pushing myself into extreme heights. And now I'm like, okay, where to from here? But it's been like a centrifuge, and it's separated things in me. And now I have these two timeline selves that are very, very different. And the one gets to die now, and I get to experience this dying process consciously. And yeah, I know where I see how I'm going to do that, and I'm really, really excited about it because I'm going to do it. And a part of me is going to stay here and hopefully live to tell. Live to tell. So, yeah, here comes the sun, here comes the day, here comes another lot of choices to make. And yep, that can be a weight, choices to make, can be a burden. And yeah, I'm seeing my burdened by choice self in front of me right now, and I have to choose the path of flow and where and how to go. Okay, I'm gonna love and leave us and do some real world shit. Have a beautiful, I wish us a beautiful yellow human wave spell, exploring our past, present, future, our ideal, with a bit of awareness of what we don't want anymore. Which at least I'm inviting myself to what I'm already doing. Duh. Just to make it a little lighter so I don't feel like I'm fucking up. So do you, boo-boo. Do you. And have a massage day ahead of me today. Giving and receiving, that'd be really, really good. I'm really looking forward to that. That's a dance of life of the most delicious kind for me right now. And yeah, and my stomach is saying, breakfast, breakfast. You never have breakfast. Okay, give me anything else. I'm exploring chocolate making lately, so that's fun. I get to have some of my own homemade chocolate, and it's super delicious. And the cool thing is, like, I don't overboard. I'm not like, oh my god, I have to gobble all of this up. I'm enjoying one piece of it, and it's like, maybe a second one, and then it's like, yeah, that's enough. Nice. So, Tatiana, there are some real good balances in place. Just remember that. Don't be too black and white about it all. Okay. Have a lovely day. I look forward to walking through this dream spell with you, whoever is listening. I'm looking forward to walking through it with me. I'm not listening. White wind, I better start listening to myself. I want to listen to my blue storm wave spell because I'm just a small reminder. In 8 days, we will be reminded of the wave spell, and we will be asked to check for integrity. Is our humanity in integrity with what we choose to auto-program, to have auto-programmed in our lives? Are we in integrity in our choices? Because our choices are calling in our auto-programming. I'm really curious to keep an eye on that in 8 days. And the planetary tone in this wave spell Wait, the time pulse are the four yellows are yellow human, yellow warrior is the center point of this human, command center, the yellow warrior, and then the solar sun. Solar sun, solar sun, how can I not? Is there something wrong here? I just like, oh fuck. The solar sun. I should be loving this wave spell like nobody's business. I get to be solar in this wave spell. Oh, solar sun. This is, I'm gonna burn. Please, somebody remind me of this bloody red moon all the time so that I can just cool the waters and keep this sun not like I just like, ugh. Hey, let me get the balance right. Anyhow, do you, boo boo, do you? And then we have the seed, cosmic seed. So that's our time pulsar. That's where we're going. We're going for this human resonance in this time is human fearlessness, fearlessly making our wise choices in it, with life, life for life, enlightenment, and our seed potential, focusing our seed potential for the future, for where we're going, who we are becoming. And we're always becoming in the now, not tomorrow, but now. Who am I becoming now? Who am I becoming? Who is my next self? Not the one in 50 years, but I kind of need to have also a little of an idea of who will I be in 50 years so that my now self knows the direction. My GPS needs a coordinate. Where am I going? I have to tell Google Maps or whatever navigation I'm using, where am I going? That it's going to then determine the path. By which algorithmic decisions is the path chosen? It's another question. That's what I may need to ask myself. Do I want the path of least resistance? Do I want the most interesting path? Do I want the path with most problems to solve? Do I want the path of most learning? Do I want the path where I meet all my soulmates who are also struggling and learning? Or what do I want? Do I want the path with most fun? Do I want all of the above? Do I get to choose? Do I have to choose? Has it already been chosen? Do I just have to unfold? Sorry. Do I just have to unfold the choices I've already made because I've already, done this a million times around? So how am I doing it now? Have I done it successfully? Have I not? What am I changing? What am I choosing? So it's really important. Now, planetary. How do we know? It's the planetary dragon. Nurture, being, birth. Every moment we're birthing ourselves. This is, the dream spell seems to be spread out in time, but we are the wave right now. So we are the planetary dragon right now. The reason we're walking through it in 13 days is just to learn it. It's just to learn it in its particle form. But the wave is it. It's the birthing of the cosmic seed. It's the birthing of solar consciousness, of intention, realizing solar consciousness intention, birthing it into the human cosmic seed form in the rhythmic earth, being human and sorry, I'm reaching the limit of my ability to talk this talk, but there's an eagle in here as well. On tone. Let me just talk it through quickly. Tomorrow is the Lunar Skywalker, our stabilizing challenge. I could talk through this already now, but I'll do it tomorrow. And then the Electric Wizard. I have a good friend, Electric Wizard. It's her kin birthday today. And my own boyfriend and myself together are the Electric Wizard. Very interesting. Let's see what this wave spell will bring for us. And the incarnation of our solar humanity, our solar consciousness into our relationship. I'm a cosmic crystal dog this year. There's no dog in this wave spell except the antipode of the sun. And a little bit somewhere on the moon, attached to the moon, right? Which is then attached to us every day, not to forget. And there is a wind in this wave spell. But that's guided by itself. Never mind, whatever. And then we have the eagle on tone 4, self-existing. So the visionary mind to this human is self-existing, and which means we are all the creators of our embodiment. There's no way around it. Humans have a mind, and they are the creative force of their own life experience. So whether we know it or not. And our vision for the future, the vision for my next version. Man, this is a take home for me right now. This becoming, I am becoming. I am that I am becoming that I am. Solar sun. Solar sun. Solar everything. We are all of these waves. We are the entire Tzolk'in. Boom! Resonating all the frequencies, the symphony of all of life. You can tune into any particle and just listen to that note, that one instrument, that one note. Listen to its own overtones, nothing else. Whose overtone in this wave spell? Warrior. Listen to just the warrior and overtone, guided by, tone 5 is always guided by, I should know, I don't right now. Blah, 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 blah. The seed, tone 13, yes, lazy brain. Isn't that beautiful? So you tune into that overtone that is already resonating. The guide is, this warrior is resonating for that cosmic seed. The focus, the potential, who we're going to be, who we already are. It all is now, but we're spreading it out over time in the same way that Tzolk'in spreads out the now wave in time. The whole existence is now, past, present, future. It's already happened. Every possibility has already and is already and always is and isn't either. So, yeah, but you can tune into any part of it. A day, a week, a lifetime. Chronologically, in reverse. You can go back and live your childhood again, either this way or that way. You can get there any way you choose. When you die, you want to do this life over? I am convinced you get to if you want to. It doesn't make sense otherwise. Why wouldn't it? Why, you can choose. Infinite choice, everything. It's everything. You're a choice master. That's the creative. Who's the guide of the eagle? The eagle on tone 4. Guided by the blue monkey, and we've just come through the monkey yesterday, cosmic monkey, so the inner child. And yesterday's monkey was guided by the eagle. How is that for perfect? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that always the cosmic is guided by the next blue color sign, and the self-existing, is guided by the cosmic before, like same seal. So that's a beautiful bridge. A beautiful bridge, a world bridge, okay, a wave spell bridge, a bridge between the child that may not know and the eagle mind that has to know or does know, the child that may dream its future and the eagle that envisions its future. Tatiana, yeah, that's really a fat underline note to self. Who do I want to be when I die? Who, if I lived my life over, what would I change and what wouldn't I change? What would I want to keep to live it again and what would I change? That's my seed, man. That's what I'm going to do. That's exactly that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to let everything die. All these programs that stand in my way, they can leave. And I will be brave and face the unknown. That's the biggest thing. That is that lock that I found yesterday there. That's like there's an unknown here that is linked to the understanding that there's danger. So there is no danger. There's only life. There is no danger. Life is not dangerous. Life is not dangerous. Death is not dangerous. There is no end. The temporary state is always going to end. But there's an eternal state that recreates the temporary at will, any shape. The physical material world is our clay, and it's subject to change because we are not, and we are too. Just we are eternal beings, so we get to play with this temper. It's just terribly simple. Okay, enough said. Wish us a beautiful day. I'm back to an hour and a half. Great. Okay, but okay. On a magnetic tone, it should be allowed, right? Tatiana, when are you going to get over that? You're repeating your old patterns. Ah, Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Aho.